All right, so next we're going to talk about our blenders and the stepped value scale, and then we will just get a chance to do that. So first, this is your blending stump or your torchon or blender. It's rolled paper, and you use the sides of the end of it to blend. So what we're going to do first is to use it to gently blend the blended value chart. So using just the side of it, don't use the tip because that will make it streaky. You're going to go in a horizontal motion and gently pull the value together so that it smooths it out. You don't push hard, you shouldn't need to. If you feel like you need to push hard to get the value to blend, then you have not applied the value smooth enough to begin with. So now that we have it already on here and it's nice and smooth, you can go over it and gently drag the value across, and that will smooth it out. Now we're going to work on our stepped value chart, which will go right above this one. So let's set it apart. So the stepped value chart, we're also going to be using the same blended or modeled value technique where you do the long elongated ovals, but technically with a stepped chart you could use any technique. So that's any technique. And then how to do it is to make each square a separate tone. Okay, so instead of having it go gently from dark to light or light to dark, we're going to have each individual section will be a separate tone. So I'm going to set this aside and get this guy out so that you can see him. So here we go. So we're going to work on it up here, and we always start with the which pencil? Oh, that's right, the 2H pencil. And we're going to do this kind of in just the same way that we did the other one, with long loose ovals going in different directions, staying in one area for a longer period of time so that the value will blend. Very, very light over here in that section. Super, super light. That's probably all the value that it will get, and it's just going to be really, really light. And then using the 2H pencil, we're going to go all the way across, because making your values gentle and blended and accurate is done with the use of layers and layering techniques. You have to make sure that you're paying attention to your layers and you're not just trying to get the pencil to make it perfect and out there in one beginning go. You are instead layering it on top of itself and using multiple passes with different pencils. So we're filling it in nicely. Long loose ovals. So that's the 2H, that's our starter tone. So we've got the starter tone done. And then next we're going to get the 2B and start with the 2B. We're doing the same thing that we were doing before, but we need to make sure that it goes all the way to the edge of this first square here, using really light pressure. And I'll go into the other ones using light pressure again. All right, going different directions. And then very, very light pressure. I'm going to add in the value in just the second little square here with really, really light pressure. I want it to look different than the first one, but I also don't want to change the tone very much. So I'm definitely kind of using the side of the pencil. Right there. And then I'm going to use a little bit more pressure with this third one, making sure that the squares are all individually a different step of value. Just like that. And I'm just toning in the other sections together at the same time. So as you look down, they should be about the same in tone. These should be about the same, those should be about the same, except this changes gradually, and this will have a distinct separation. So I'll do that, and then now I'm going to go over it with the 2H again. Blend it in. Also blending over here. So it's blended in. Now I'm going to get it with the 6B because these sides are not dark enough over here. So over these two squares, I'll go in with the 6B. Trying to keep them separate. Me. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the 2B for this one to kind of finish him up. Trying to look closely to see where my edges are, and I do need to make this a little bit darker. So I'm going to go over again one more time with my 2B and then check my tones and make sure that I'm going dark enough with this. Okay, so I'm just getting it darker in here, toned in nicely. All right, so now we've got, this is a good light, that's a good medium light, good medium, pretty good next dark. This one you can see is too much lighter than that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into it with the 6B using more heavy pressure, but I'm not pushing real hard because remember we want to build it up with layering, not just by pushing real hard from the get-go, because then you can't hide your stroke direction. And it pushes the fibers of the paper out and can warp your shape of your paper. So we need to make sure that you're layering it light and loose, but a little more heavy pressure here with this last guy so that he gets really, really dark. All right, so we have a nice dark tone there for that. Okay, now to use the blender on the stepped value, you need to just make sure that you start with the light and then move to the dark, because the dark will make your blender really dirty. And you're going to just gently go over the top of it with your blender on its side, not using the tip. Just do them individually so that it gets dirty as it goes over and you don't drag the dark 6B value onto your nice, very, very light square. Okay, so that's the stepped value. Thanks.